that was amazing. What some great
That
swims out there.
that was a crazy, crazy finals.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be good. I didn't expect us to do so well in the 400 IM. I thought we'd do well, and I
Yeah,
heard people saying, we could go silver and bronze there, but I wasn't too sure about it. But I'm just excited to talk about it with you
yeah,
because for me, up until now, I was at the zones meet, and so I was
right.
always kind of like grading papers and watching it and being with the swimmers there, and that's one thing. Or on the
Yep,
plane with the swimmers watching it, that's one thing. But then I got to sit with my family today,
yeah,
and it was pretty funny to watch their reactions because they don't know a lot about swimming.
right.
My daughter swam a little bit here or there, and now she's into
Yeah.
archery and other stuff. And my wife's there, and they're kind of like, so here, you're gonna love this. So like I walk in, I was like, all right, let's watch the Olympics. And she comes by and she gives me a high five and says, "Good day, mate." I was like, not in this household. We're not
No,
we are not doing that.
no.
I said, not
Mm-mm.
not right now, not this afternoon. We're not doing that.
Yeah,
Um, but we got down there, and then the other funny thing is they were showing stuff, and I would make little comments. Like during the 400 IM, she's like, "Wow, she's way behind. She's way back there. And
yeah,
why is she so far back? And why is that happening?" I was like, "She's a breaststroker. It's gonna be fine." And then the
right.
announcer goes, "Now wait for the breaststroke because that's gonna catch everybody up." And they kind of look at me. I was like out calling the
Yes,
announcers. But if you know anything about swimming, it's totally fine.
right.
It's
Yes,
not that big of a deal.
yes.
So, did you get to watch it with your family?
Evie and I watched it again, and yeah, it was really I liked this time. I keep waiting for like the ball to drop with Rowdy Gaines, that like during the 400 AM, he started hinting about the pool
And how
and
shallow it was, right?
how shallow it was, right? And like Evie said something, and she was like, "What is he talking about?" And she's like, "It looks normal." And I'm like, "No, it's not." And because he was, talking about just their underwater, trajectory in the IM, and how each girl was just different in what they did, and then with their crossovers and I was like, "Yeah, this is gonna by the end of." The Olympics, it's just going to be full-fledged reality. But yeah, Evie said the same thing. She was like, look at the breaststroke. And breaststroke is her event. So she
Right.
always is watching what happens with the breaststrokers. And so, it was an amazing, amazing finish. I did not. I really didn't think that we were going to go 2-3 in it. It was a great first like out of the gate race. I mean, we all knew that Summer was going to do what she was going to do. Like it was just how was second and third gonna happen from there. So you know, it was an amazing race. And for somebody, I was 400 IMer in college, and 400 AM is kind of like one of my heart swims because it really is a chess match, like you
Yes,
were
very much.
describing. And you have to be a smart swimmer. You have to know how to not freak out at the beginning and control yourself. And then you got to know how to handle the pain when you get to free. And all three of those girls, like, just, it was awesome to watch them kick it in that last 100 free. It was so good. So good. So fun to watch.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I enjoyed every stroke of it. It's interesting that you said, they're very aware of what they can do. We knew that it was going to come to breaststroke. We knew that Grimes was going to be a little bit ahead. We knew
Yeah.
that Wayant was going to be coming in with the breaststroke. And it was just like, and you constantly are watching that. But at the same time, I mean, I've talked to Olympic athletes before about the IMs. Now, this was a individual that's was a two-time finalist in the men's 200 IM, and he said he a couple different times he was at international competitions and the scoreboard's right there, and he
Yeah.
went out butterfly backstroke and he had breaststroke coming up, and when he hit the wall, he came up with the breaststroke on the first stroke and saw the times. And he's like, that person's coming back. Like that was
Yeah.
his first thought. He's like, they're way out way too fast. So
Yeah.
they're very aware of what they're doing,
Yes.
very
Yeah.
aware of who's where and how much they need to be ahead of time. But
Mhm.
when we're talking about the breaststrokes, if you look at the splits coming into that, I
Yeah.
mean, McIntosh is out in 132 compared to 133 compared to Wayant 13800 butterfly. So
Yeah.
she's 5 and 6 seconds behind at that point, and
Right.
she's got to start pulling it in. And then on the next 100, she loses ground to McIntosh and she's dead
Yeah.
even with Grimes. They
Yep.
go just about the exact same time, like a 1:13, 1:14, whatever.
Mhm.
I'm doing the math quickly, so don't check me on that. But then when you come to breaststroke, in the first 50, she takes back a second and a half.
Right.
And then on the second 50, she takes back another 1.2. So she comes in and almost takes out 3 seconds right there. So she's inching up, inching up, inching up, and then
Yep.
it's just a dogfight to the end.
Yep.
And in the last one, she's up by 7/10, and then she's up by another 5/10, so another 1.2 seconds right there, and then she gets, she's within reach at that point. But it was just amazing to watch, especially with the other swimmers that were going in. Colbert was also pretty good at breaststroke, and you had some other ones that were coming up, but it was
Yep.
really just the McIntosh show at that point. You know what I
It
mean?
was. And, I think what's really funny is because Evie and she's picked up on it now too, that she asked me that she's like, what college does that girl swim for?
Not yet.
She's
My
like,
wife said the same
what
thing.
US, she's like, what US club does that girl swim for? And, I was like, Sandpipers. And like, and I had explained to her that I was like, numerous times that I go, most of these athletes are either on US pro teams or they've gone to, US colleges. It's
Right.
very rare that you can't find that connection within, any of those swimmers, those top swimmers that you see. So, because we were
Yeah,
talking,
I mean, you'll have South Africa and you'll have
yeah,
Australia, and
yeah,
you'll have some French swimmers. I mean, there are some swimmers that go pro right away,
right.
but the majority is that, and it drives, like, whenever I talk to my mom and I mention that, she just goes ballistic. She's like, nope, nope, nope. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like, we shouldn't be training them. I'm like, yes, we should. It's for the good of the sport. And hey,
Right.
they're all friends anyways. They're all
Yep.
competing to the best.
Right.
When they get done, they're going to say, shake their hand, like, I'll get you next time, and they're
Yep.
disappointed.
Right.
We'll talk about Hobson in a second and his face when he finished.
Yeah.
That was a dogfight too, but we'll get that in just a second. So, but you're right. And then, like, my wife immediately says, "Well, I wonder what university she's going to swim for." I'm like, she might go pro, but
Right.
everybody will be happy to have her on their team.
Mm-hmm.
Not a problem. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? She goes, "Do you want to speculate?" I was like, "No, I have no idea." You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, that's the whole point is, and it's interesting, and I'll say this, and then we'll have to move on to the next event just because of time. But we had a swimmer at Georgia when I was there who was from Germany, but he moved to the United States and then he went to Georgia, and he was talking about the difference. And he said, if I was still in Germany, instead of coming to the United States and finishing high school and then going on to the University of Georgia, he said, I would have probably had maybe a year to strike it pro and make enough money that I could survive. Whereas
Yeah.
if you come to the United States, I get 4 years where I'm investing in an education. I'm getting a full ride anyways. I can train. I can
Right.
really give myself that chance to go from 18 to 22 to 23 years old, which
Yeah.
we all know is a huge time in your life where you get stronger and I mean,
Yes.
your muscles don't
Right.
mature until 25 anyways. So I
Right.
mean, it's really, we've set ourselves up to have that kind of base that we can
Yeah.
give people a chance to mature and really show what they can do. So you don't have to be everybody doesn't have to be McIntosh. You can
Right.
wait till you're a little bit older and more mature to kind of get
Right.
there.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. All
So
right.
my next one is that I definitely want to talk about is backstroke.
What?
Yes.
Why? What happened there? What could have happened there that you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, Ryan Murph, he just I mean, you wanted it so and the times. I mean, that was like even I
Yeah,
that's the hardest part of the Olympics, right? Like you look at what those final times were,
right.
and I mean, point three from third to first. And, I wanted so bad for Ryan Murphy to have that gold medal. I wanted
Right.
so bad. He's such a good advocate for our sport. And, again, he's one of the elders, so to speak. And like, I wanted it so bad. And you could just, the most heartbreaking thing to me of the Olympics is when, you know, the announcers try to like say like, yeah, but he medaled and like,
Well,
and
it's a big deal. I mean,
it
come on,
is,
it's a big
but you
deal.
can see on his face that
Yeah,
like,
he's there. There's different levels even at the Olympics, and he's in the
yes,
top level where he's not saying if I get a medal, I'm good. There's that
right.
level. There's the I just made it. Okay, okay. First of all, it's hey, we're a new country in the sport, so we're sponsored. That's Eddie
Yeah,
the Eel in 2000. Then
yeah,
it's I made it. Then it's I think I can make finals. Then it's I think I can make the medals. And then
yeah,
it's I'm a favorite. So there's
yeah.
like five different levels, and you're right. Murphy's he's right.
It,
Ryan's at right at the top.
and I mean, I think Rowdy Gaines, like I loved what he said about his backstroke, that he was like, even the Italian that won, they showed right afterwards the Italians underwaters compared to Ryan Murphy's.
Right.
And they're doing a great job of that, of showing like timing and depth and how many dolphins they're actually taking or how long they're actually
Right.
underwater.
Well, I mean, the
And
water is so shallow, it's easy shot, right? Is that what we're
right.
saying?
And so like it is. And like,
Yeah.
and Ryan's, underwaters, when they showed, like, they were insane.
Spectacular. Yeah,
They're
spectacular.
amazing. And, it really, it was so hard. Again, it was another heartbreaker because it was just, well, what made it worse was that, not that it made it worse, because obviously it's something to celebrate, was like, you could tell when they panned to his family that his wife,
Not happy.
not ecstatic. And then that she had the poster that said they were having a girl.
Right, right, right.
And like, it's that those moments that like she was waiting to have this amazing, and it still was
It's
amazing,
still amazing. It's
but
still
it
amazing.
wasn't what that either one of them actually wanted. And that tears me apart inside, because if you've ever been a swimmer, that feeling of like disappointment that you could have done something different, or you could have done better, or so. But it
Well, I
was
mean, and
like
the other thing
watching.
about that is the swimmers know they're so in tune. They know exactly where they like. I missed it right here.
Yep,
It was
they do.
this stroke, this distance. Maybe I slipped on this or whatever it is. They
Yeah,
know exactly what it is, and that's what they're going to replay again and again. And I think this is where, we're going to talk about other close touches in the other races because there was all really
there was
exciting.
loss.
And I think that part of it is, for the United States, we go silver, bronze, and the 400 IM behind the favorite. And
Yep.
it's like, we're rolling now.
Yeah.
Here we go. And then it was just close call, close call, close call. And I remember at the 2000, I think it was 2008, whenever Dara Torres was there at 45, and she got out
Yeah.
touched by a hundredth of a second in the 50 free to get a
Yep.
silver. And the story that I heard from a coach is she was in the warm down pool and she was just kind of on the edge and she just had her hands down and she's like 1/100th of a second. Like it was just like, and now it's right when it's happening. It
Yeah.
just happened. And it's just like, how close can I get? Because for
Yeah.
her, she never had an individual gold medal.
Right.
And she was always on a relay. She was always doing that. And so it was great that she got the silver, but she was there for one purpose.
Yep.
And I'm sure she's replayed it, but in a 50 free, you just go and it's just reaction time. Hundreds are now that way.
Right. They
And but
are.
they but he's still gonna know exactly where, okay, here's where I could have done something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Um, but it was absolutely that was a great race. I thought he was going to do a little bit better. I thought,
I
it was
did
going to
too.
be it was between him and the Italian.
Yep.
That wasn't going to change anything. Sasson, it was right there. I was a little bit surprised the Chinese swimmer was there, but I mean, he's been highly successful in the past too. And that's
Right.
the thing is like my daughter's like, if I was them, I wouldn't know what to do. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, everyone's won a world championship. They won an Olympic medal. They've all, every single one of those swimmers is so accomplished. It's just like, yeah. And that's why it's so hard to do this. And that's why it's so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
So, all right. So if we're gonna stick with close calls and close touches, we have to do the men's 200 freestyle next.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
100%. Go back
Uh,
and watch it. Go back and watch it, and just be
yes.
absolutely. Hobson thought he had it.
Yeah.
100% he thought he had it, and then he's looking at the scoreboard, and it's just I can't believe I got out touched. I
Yeah.
can't believe I got out touched, and I
Yeah.
can't either. I mean, I thought he had it with about 5 meters to go,
Me too.
and the charge that was coming in, the momentum that Pogacar had from
Romania.
he was just yeah, in Romania, but he was just rolling in through there. And then
Yeah.
Richards at the top, on the outside you couldn't see. And he
Well, and that's what I think is the hardest thing too, right? Is like I feel like in past Olympics, we've had pretty good semifinal races that set them up where it really was more, it was closer to that, pyramid that we like
yes,
to see. And there have been so many races of outside lanes that people can't see, that just had crap swims in the morning,
right,
more than I'm used to seeing. And maybe it's just me, but like this was definitely one of those circumstances where I'm like, where the heck did that guy, like, where was that at semis?
right,
That like, why were you not in a middle lane that you ended up out there that but that's part of the Olympics too, right? And racing is that who knows how much that swimmer actually tanked knowing what he still had in him just to get him a spot.
right.
So,
Well, I
and
mean, I think for the 200, it's so competitive that I think they were more aggressive than they normally were in the semifinals, and
yeah.
I think he might have run out of a little bit of steam. And
Yeah.
so, if you looked at him, he was out quick still. I mean, he
Yeah.
was out there and everything, but I don't think that he was out quite as big. I think again, it's kind of like the reason that I love prelim finals, meets is because I always tell my swimmers, whatever mistakes you make in the morning, we can fix in the afternoon and we should be able
Right.
to go faster. Yes,
Yeah.
you're a little bit more tired, but if you rested and you did what you needed between the breaks, you can look at all the numbers and they have all the numbers they could want. They have
Right.
all the analytics that they could want. They can make a game plan. They can see what everybody else is doing. And sometimes even within the semifinals to the finals, they're going to change up a little bit of what they're going to do because of who they're going to race. And
Yeah.
we'll talk about Lily King when we finally get there. But it's still, people have adjusted to her and people
Yeah.
have adjusted to what she does and they know what they need to do to get there.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
also knows what she needs to do because as we'll see, I thought she was a lot more out of the race than she was.
Yeah.
But here it was just, I mean, Hobson just absolutely went after it. And that third 50. I mean,
I mean, I find it so weird with 200s now. Like you were saying, like hundreds are almost like 50s now. I think collectively, it's like 200 and below have turned into just all out sprints. Like
yeah.
they just, you don't know what's going to happen. And it seems like because the bar's been raised so
Well, okay.
much
Well,
that,
let me give you a story about that because I
yeah,
think that you're dead on it. You're dead
yeah,
on it. So a couple of years ago, I was talking to Harvey Humphreys,
yeah,
and he was training his 500 guys to go 21 in the 50 free.
yeah.
Like he's like they should be able to go 21 in the 50 free, and everyone's like they're 500 guys. Why do they have to do that? And he said because in the first 50 they've got to go 23 and be comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
think about that. And you
Yeah.
take that back 10 years ago, nobody was thinking that way, but they're all thinking that way. You're dead on. It's
Yeah.
all a sprint now.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, it's being smart, but being fast and smart, and then being able to hang on and finish. And, I think I saw yesterday and today all of these races. It really, and I say this to my swimmers all the time, especially when we're long course, that last 15 meters, like
Hold
that
your
is
breath.
it's like you watch them, you just watched so many of them that we expected to be at the top, that right at that 15-meter mark, on the way back, the last 15-meter mark, like you can watch, there's like you said, there's a little hiccup, there's a little
Something.
something, they don't kick hard enough, they're not pulling water right there, and you can watch it where it's like, I don't know how many times I've said in the last 24 hours, oh no, there it goes. That I
Well,
literally said that. I'm
and
like, oh no.
I wanted to make that comment about Ryan Murphy. Go back and watch it again. His hips got low that
Yeah.
last 10 meters.
Oh, for sure. That's
He was
again, I
he was
said it
running
with
out.
him.
And so usually when a backstroker does that, it's one of two things. It's either they're gunning the legs to get there, And I
Yeah.
think that's what he was doing because I don't think he was running out of steam.
Right.
Where they're running out of steam, and so that you kind of sit down a little bit and you lose your body position. But it was evident there that there was a
Yeah.
little bit of that going on. But I've been watching that. But the reason I think that's happening is they have to go out so fast.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
what I call sprint light. It's
Right.
I can't do, Michael Andrews all out, all out, all out. We've
Right.
learned all out, all out is not going to work. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's good for certain distances, but it's not going to work for 200 and above. But
Yep.
you have to be able to be pretty much there. And so
Yeah.
you've got to train your body to, I can go right to the edge of anaerobic and not cross that line. And
Right.
so, and I think that with Hobson and this race, he's out in 51.3, and Popovich is out in 51.1, and Richards is out in 50.9. And then the third 50, Popovich goes 26.8, Richards goes 27.0, Hobson goes 26.6, and then goes 26.79. And here's the interesting part. And I know it, I get into the numbers a little bit, but this is kind of interesting. On the last 50, the Romanian goes 26.74, 74.
Yep.
Richards goes 75 and loses by 200ths of a second. And Dobson goes 79 and loses by 700ths of a second. So you're talking the last 50, it's 0.7, 7/100ths of a second between first and second in the 50. It's 500ths of a second between first and second of the 50, and it's 7 overall. So he came
Yeah.
back, but you're talking minuscule amounts,
Right. Right.
minuscule amounts, and that's so fast on the last 50 on top of it. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, and again, because this is what we're here to talk about, is, that's when we tell swimmers that one breath can cost you.
Yes.
That one, dolphin that you didn't do, that one turn that you didn't do, that this is a textbook example
Yes.
of how much the tiniest things matter, what you're doing and what you're not doing. So yeah, again, it was another like, I just couldn't believe I watched that. So now let's go to my heartbreaker that
Are you sure you're ready for this?
I don't know.
Come on.
It made me very, very sad. I can't say I didn't feel like, okay, I didn't think she was not going to medal. I'll say that. I thought
Right.
she was
Okay.
going
Yeah,
to
I
medal.
can agree with that.
I didn't think she was going to win it because I think that
I didn't think Smith was going to win it either.
no, neither did I. I just did not think that number one, it was going to be as close as it was.
Right.
Having the four of them, again, it was Lily King was, 105.6, and then it was 105.59
Right.
for bronze. I mean, again, and then
Yes.
5.4 and then 2.8. I mean, this is like watching. I hope swimmers and parents are watching the reaction of these swimmers like Lily King and Ryan Murphy and Gretchen Walsh, and like that. These are athletes that have spent most of their life at the top, who have broken world records, who have done what the majority of swimmers will never do in
Right.
their lifetime. And when you watch someone like Lily King, not win a medal her last time out of the gate, out of her favorite event,
Right.
and you see the look on her face,
Yeah.
that is like, as a coach and as a swimmer, I always go back to, do you remember when it happened to Missy Franklin? And
Right.
when Missy Franklin, you remember that when she knew that that was like
That's
it.
it.
And that today, watching Lily was I had that exact same emotion that I did when I watched that happen with Missy Franklin.
Right.
And
Right.
it is so heartbreaking because you almost feel like, I hope they don't forget who they were when they were at the top of the mountain just because this is how it ended.
Well, I mean, that's that. Yes,
They
they
don't,
will. I mean, it's
right,
the same thing as Dressel in the press conference when he said, it's hard for me to say, but I'll probably never go that fast again. And
right,
he started choking up because you're trying to always go faster. You're trying to
right,
always improve. but there is a point at which you're not going to. But here's the thing. My daughter says to me, she goes, the world record. Well, she has the world record. I'm like, it's 2017.
Yeah.
That was a while ago.
Yeah.
And she's right. She's sniffed it before. She's been right there. Then again, so many other people have, but nobody's broken it.
Correct.
You
And
know what I
that,
mean? And so it's how stellar that swim was
yes.
and how many medals she already has. I mean, yeah, she'll be disappointed, but she's not going to hang her head
Right.
by any means. But again, this is where she needed to get out faster than that's her MO. She has to get out faster than everybody else. And
Yep.
she was out in 31-0.
Yep.
She was in seventh position at that point.
Right.
At
And
that
I
point,
mean, that's where I was like,
we're
because of
done.
what we talked about yesterday, right? That's where I was like, oh my gosh, maybe she's trying something different because she knows her body is
Right.
not where it used to be that she can do that. That maybe this is like, okay, we're going to hold it and then see if I can go the second 50. But again, I mean, she did on the second 50, she caught, she brought it back up,
Yeah,
but
she was
it
strong. She
it
was
was
very strong.
not, she was not out in front enough, obviously, to bring it home. And I think the big thing is, um, the girl that won, something that I took out of it from a coaching perspective is that girl who won and, also beat her in semis, she had that brushstroke pop to her. There,
Yes.
there was I call it jamming their head forward, but she had much more of a tempo and drive into her line than Lily did. And I think for a long time, Lily was really good at it because she's got such strong legs. She's got such power,
Yes.
but she lost the speed behind the power.
Well, the most impressive thing for me, there's
Mhm.
two, there's something that was extremely impressive and something that was extremely disappointing.
Yeah.
And or shocking, maybe a better way. So the most impressive thing is Lily goes out in 31-0 and she has the fastest second 50 in the race.
Yep.
So I'm wondering, and I'm not going to speculate on anything because I have no idea. I'm wondering if something happened along in the first 50 that set her back.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily sure she was holding back on purpose, but I'm
Right.
wondering if it's kind of like the anchor of the men's 100 4x100 freestyle. Dressel's foot wasn't on the front, and it looks like he slipped a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? He still has a great time, whatever it is. But at the same time, maybe something happened there, and then she had the adrenaline and she went after it. And at that point, when whatever happened, she went.
Yeah.
Now, maybe she was holding off on the front half just a little bit to save it for the back half, but that's not her personality.
No, and that's
And
the
I
thing,
don't think that's what
right?
happened.
I like that speculation because I was like, she was just too far back.
Yeah, a little bit.
That was not, I mean, she was, oh, yeah, it was,
Seventh. She was seventh.
yeah, I mean, it
So
was just,
I said when she got to the 50 and she was 31, they announced even before they said she was in seventh, I'm like, she's too far behind. This is going to get rough.
yeah,
I expected her to drop back beyond fourth, and she came
right.
back and almost got her third place. The thing that kind of was surprising and a little bit it'll be disappointing for the Chinese is that Tang took 2 strokes in the last meter.
Yeah,
Go back and watch. She goes short stroke, short stroke.
yeah,
Now, we all know you need to make that adjustment back at the flag. So 5 meters back is where you want to have it. So you're charging in. And that's what Smith does. She makes a small adjustment and she's dead on the touch.
yep,
Tang goes short stroke, and basically says, you can have it.
yeah.
That
Well,
finish was bad.
and I mean, you can look at it the other way too, because she short stroked it. I mean, maybe she felt like if she long stroked it, she would have gotten out touched.
Yeah, I don't know. I would always lean toward the long.
Oh,
Just a
I
little
would
bit.
too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I would lean towards the long if you've got the power to get in.
Well, I mean, she had a higher tempo. She
Yep.
had a shorter strokes than everybody else. She was churning it over. So maybe that's more in her wheelhouse of
Wheelhouse.
where she's judging. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that she gave it away, but still,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say that it was out of the ordinary, maybe if that's the case, but I would have leaned into it and just got my hands on the wall.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you just got to get your hands on the wall.
Yep.
All right, we got to move on.
Yep.
So we have the women's 100 backstroke semifinals.
Yep.
I want to do that before we get over to the other women's event that was unbelievable. So
Yep.
we're looking pretty good here. Reagan Smith is first. Kaylee McCowan is second for Australia, and then Catherine Burkhoff is third.
Right.
I mean, nothing. Okay, so here's go back and watch Burkhoff. About the 15 meters to go, her
Yep.
tempo is not there.
Yep.
And what I
That's
mean
where
by
I
that
was
is,
gonna go. I was like, this is another 15 meters.
yes. So she's next to McCowan, right? And they're
Yep.
going. McCowan starts her sprint strokes 2 or 3 strokes before Burkhoff does.
Yep.
So you're watching and goes, she's gone. Oh, I'm gone. And then that was it. And that's why she came in. That's how they went first and second in the second semifinal. That's easy to clean up.
Right. For
You got to
sure.
go a little bit sooner than that. Okay. I'm going to go a little bit sooner than that. I think
Yeah.
Burkhoff is right there. I think it's
Yeah.
going to be a dogfight for this.
Oh, I do too. And I mean, even with Reagan Smith, like to be honest, I thought she would go faster than
Right.
that. And I think
Oh,
she
she's got plenty.
she's got plenty left in her that I think we're gonna see, we're gonna see something good come finals. So
Well,
um,
she knew what time. Okay. So when you're at an event like this, you pretty much know exactly what time you need to go.
right,
Just saying, everybody ballparks it. Now, when the super suits were going in 2008, everybody ballparked and they were way off. And so
right,
that's when it became you've got to sprint everything because we don't know what times are going to happen. And with the suits kind of coming in and out, it was really hard to judge. Now they have it down to, hey, if you go under 58, you're good. If you
right,
probably go under 58.5, you're going to be top three, and that's all we need is the center lane. Well, let's take a look at it. 50, 57.97, 57.99, 58.27, and then fourth is 58.63. So she's just going out and feeling good.
yep,
And she goes, I want to make a statement. I'll go under 48. I'm not gonna go any faster than I need to go to get a center lane. I'm
right,
not gonna go 57 low.
right,
I can go 57 high. I can be close to my best time. I'll put the effort in. I know exactly where I'm at. That's what they
yeah,
did. And
yep,
all four of the top qualifiers did that.
yeah,
So it's
for
US,
sure.
Australia, US, Australia, Canada, Canada. I mean, they
Yep,
all knew exactly where they needed to be. They're happy.
yeah.
They're like,
It's
let's go.
that is gonna be, I cannot wait to see what happens inside of the stadium for that one
Oh,
because
cowbells are coming out.
there's gonna be teeth out.
It's gonna be a marquee.
Yes.
No doubt. Now, before we go any farther, I want to challenge you on something
Mhm.
because it's something that I teach whenever I teach backstroke starts or even breakouts. And
Yeah.
they have this little like robotic guy animation.
Oh
And
my
this is the
gosh, that
animation at this
thing
point.
is the creepiest.
It's creepy. It totally is.
It's
And like, yeah. So, anyways, so here's the perfect angle, all this. If you watch it, dolphin kick, dolphin kick, dolphin kick,
flutter
3 or 4
kick.
freestyle
I
transition kicks is what I
watched that
call them
too.
before the hands come out of the streamline. And I go, that's what I teach. I want a lot of people, they'll be in the streamline, and as soon as they start pulling their hand, they'll go to the freestyle. And what ends up happening is they'll go to the freestyle kick. If you already have your freestyle kick established, you have something to resist against, and you get a better pull.
Mm,
And all the
yeah,
times my kids say, yes, I can feel that. And then we get to a race, they don't do it because
yeah,
it's like we just got to go. If you can just get a kick or two in, try it at practice and see it, and then watch. Next time you watch the underwaters, watch the Olympians. Basically, as their hands break, they're already in a freestyle kick, or they're just starting their freestyle kick because it gives you more resistance, so you can get down the pole.
well, so what I personally normally tell my kids is that like once you get to the point where your dolphins get so small, that first flutter kick that you take should be your first big backstroke. So it should coincide with
Right.
like your
Try
spit.
it. Try it just a little bit ahead of time.
Yeah.
2 kicks before you pull your hands as a drill,
Yep.
and then you'll time it up a whole lot better, and you'll feel a lot more resistance. You
Yep.
just look better. And
Yep.
the animation, as Rowdy Gain said, that's perfect. That was a perfect start. So obviously, I am right. Okay,
As
so
everyone else said, that thing is creepy.
yes, and everyone else totally agrees that it's the creepiest thing we've ever seen in our entire lives. Okay, so what's next?
Let's see.
Women's 200 freestyle.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What a race. What a race.
Yeah.
So everybody thought Titmus is going to come in and just shatter everything.
Yeah.
And it wasn't going to be close. But I don't think she got out fast enough.
No. No. I almost saw her in 400 mode.
A little bit. A
Yeah,
little
that
bit.
it was I would have thought when you're mid distance swimmer, you have to know how to shift from like that 4 to 2 range. And again, it kind of comes down to like you have to swim a 200 free like it's a sprint, because if you're a 4 free or 5 freestyler, it's really
Right.
easy to start a 2 free acting like it's that.
Right.
So, you know, I don't know. Like, I didn't really think, honestly, like, I got to be honest, I really didn't think that she was going to win the 2 free. I was kind of thinking that, she was probably going to be in bronze. I thought that that Hong Kong girl was
Yes.
was gonna,
Augie.
yeah, was gonna do better than what she did. So,
Well, I
yeah,
mean, it wasn't close. They kind of
no,
drove each other,
yeah, it wasn't
and
at all. There was kind of, again, like we went from like hundredths of a second, tenths of a second to like that.
yeah, half a second,
Yeah,
1.2 seconds. Yeah, it was just, I mean, it was there, but basically, if you don't get out fast enough, because, O'Callahan is 100 freestyler, you've
yep,
got to wear her out just a little bit. And she never did that.
yep,
And they both kind of got into, whether it's 400 mode or whatever it was the power wasn't there. And then
right,
by the time you get to the second 100, O'Callahan goes 29.2, 29.22, 27.98. And Titmus goes 29.29. So they're 7/10 slower, 700 slower there. And then she goes 28.6.
yeah,
It's 7/10. It's over.
yep,
And she was already behind going into it. And
right,
so, yeah, I thought that it could have been a smarter race. The problem
yes,
you have there is they both train with the same guy, the
yeah,
same coach at different times. I found out in the broadcast, they go at different times so they don't cross each other. So they're competitors that way. They don't want to train together. And I have no idea why. But,
yeah,
it's hard when you have a coach that knows both of your game plans.
right,
And he's going to give you the advice to beat the other person or do your best. I think that's probably the better way to look. Here's when you perform best. I can't coach you against somebody else that I'm also training. And
yep,
that's where it gets really hard.
yep,
And so I've my feeling was it was going to be Titmus going 400, 200 and go Callahan going the 100.
yeah,
But it was a coin flip to maybe O'Callahan now goes 100, 200, and then Titmus has the 400.
right,
We'll have to wait and see, but they both look sharp, and it's going to be a little bit difficult for the women moving forward. The Australians
yep,
are looking pretty good. All right, we got to move on to the next day because we're taking a lot of time, a lot
yep.
longer than we normally have. So 200 butterfly. The U.S. we have Luca Orlando and Thomas Hellman.
Go
Um,
dogs.
it's going to be tough. They're both. I mean, they're both definitely going to make. They should make top 16, and then
Yes.
we need to see what happens. And it reminds me of a story of Gil Stovall, who was at Georgia in 2008. He went into the Olympic trials. He was not supposed to be top two. He finished top two, but every time when he raced prelims, from prelims, so prelims was his fastest time, but like a second. I'm just going to say a second. I don't remember the times. But he went a second faster at prelims. Then he went a second faster than that at semifinals. And then he went a second faster than that at finals. As
Yeah.
the taper was taking and the strategy, he wasn't holding back. He had to go. That's what's going to happen for these guys.
Yeah.
Orlando and Heilman have got to do that.
Yeah.
They've got to.
I think it'll
If
I
they're going
think
to
it'll
hang in
be
there.
really cool. I'm excited to see Hellman get in the pool and race, right? Like
Yes.
young gun. It's going to be really cool to see what if he
Technically,
can
they're both young guns.
yeah, technically, well, Luca's not as young as
No,
Hellman.
I mean, he's not. But at the same time, it's you know, the difference between them is 5 years. So you have
Right.
one that's still like kind of a teenager and one that just finished university, but still on this stage, they'd be a young gun,
Yeah.
as it were. And if it wasn't for some injuries, Orlando would have been there.
Yeah.
Orlando is just he's there. Okay, so I'm looking forward to that. That's absolutely going to be good to watch. And they're going to
Katie
have,
back in the 15. We've got Katie Ledecky coming.
yeah, I didn't even highlight that.
Yeah.
Like it
So
was like,
she'll be
why
she'll be
highlight
back in the
that?
pool. So we'll get to see her, do her dominant thing and
And
women's
Gimmel's
100.
it's Gimmel, right? Is also in there.
Yep.
Yeah, Erin Gimmel's gonna do great too. So it's
Yeah.
one of those where, hey, let's get to the final.
Yep.
Let's get to the final and then let's duke it out there because they both should make finals and it should be really good for the US.
So, and speaking of, I mean, what we just talked about tonight, the 4x2 relay is, so we're going to get to kind of see, this is okay. And I will openly admit this in age group swimming,
Right.
the number one event I hate staying around for is
The 800 freestyle relay.
yes, is the 800 freestyle relay.
Yeah.
But in the Olympics, I
Let's
love it because
roll.
exactly what we just talked about. Like, you want to watch a chess match. This is
Yes.
always, you have to be so strategic about who you put where and how they handle keeping where they need to be at to, be the ones that get their hands on the wall. And the thing is, again, like those shorter relays, they're so quick and it's the
Right.
smallest thing, right? But the 800 free relay, okay, you could technically kind of screw up a start a little bit and you could still fix
No.
that.
Yes.
And so you just never know. Like, I love it because it's just so much fun because you don't know, who's going to end up where. And so I'm excited for that too.
Well, I mean, it's going to be the men tomorrow night.
Yep.
Our men are ahead.
Yep.
We're ranked ahead. We should be fine in that. I think that it's going to be good. I think we're going to be really strong. The interesting thing is if you don't know, you and I know, but you have 6 200 individuals going. So if you finish top 6 because of the way that we can put together a team and the relays, then you can be there. So top 6 make it. So the 2 that qualify, 1, 2 are the individual swimmers. They don't swim the prelims. The other 4 do. And then from that, how they do in that first prelims relay, the top 2 from there will go on to the night. Now, if you win a gold medal, everybody gets the gold medal. But
Right.
you don't get to go on and be on the podium. And so that's what everybody's going for. And they have calculations for flat start versus relay start versus, and they do all the analytics and they get it going. But as far as the men's 800 freestyle relay, I think we're going to be A-okay. I think it's going to be fun to watch. The other events that we have after the women's mile is we have the 200 butterfly, we have the men's 100 freestyle.
Yeah.
It's a crapshoot. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I mean, we really look good in trials
Yep.
against each other, but now we're going to bring in some heavy hitters.
Yeah.
And it's going to be tight. Jack
Yep.
Alexi and Chris Giuliano is going to be there. They're both, you're talking about the second and the fourth seed.
Yep.
So we should be good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As far as making the semifinals, and we should be good as far as making the finals. But again, it's that level of who's going to be there. That's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be so fast.
Yep.
It's going to be unbelievably fast as it goes.
Mhm.
And then after that, so we have the women's 100 freestyle as
100
well.
free. Yeah. So we'll see Tori Husk again and see if she's still
She's for
flying.
real.
Yeah,
She's for
if
real.
she's still in like that mode to see what she can do in this. So
Well,
I
she
think
crushes the 100 and the 4x100. She
Yep.
crushes the 100 fly. Now is her time to do well here. But again, who does she have to go against? Molly O'Callahan.
Yep.
Right. And then you also have Hottie that's going to be there from Hong Kong. And then you have Sorensen that's going to be there. So, I
Yep.
mean, you're talking about, again, it's going to be a listing of world champion, Olympic gold medalist, Olympic silver medalist, former world record holder. It's going to be tough, but she's swimming so well. I would not put anything by her. And then the men's 200 breaststroke.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we're ending on this because I am a Matt Fallon fan.
Yeah.
Okay. 100% a Matt Fallon fan. And here's why.
Mhm.
During COVID, everything's kind of shut down. Certain pools you could swim at. He's from New Jersey, which my father-in-law's family, my wife's family's from. And so there's always that connection. And as I go down to St. Pete where he was training, Fred Lewis comes up to me and we're at a meet. He goes, "You're going to want to see this kid." And he's 18 years old. He's already signed up to go to Penn. And I was like, okay. And I look at him and he is not ripped.
Yeah.
The boy is just a big boy. He's strong as all get out, and he's not ripped. And I watched him smoke everybody in the pool.
Yeah.
50 butterfly, beat him. 100 butterfly, beat him. 100 breaststroke, oh, come on. 200 breaststroke, get real. And Fred starts telling me the kind of sets that he's doing and
Yeah.
how fast he is. And he goes, watch him at trials coming up. He's going to do really, really well. Just
Yeah.
watch him. And then he was the top qualifier going into the 200 breaststroke. And I knew what his game plan was because I talked to the coaches, and he just didn't, he couldn't, he did exactly what he needed for the prelims, exactly what he needed for the semifinals, and then for the finals, he just couldn't pull it off. And so he
Yeah.
missed it. So I'm a big fan. I think he's going to do really well. I think he's going to shock a lot of people. I think he makes the final. Now, I think that his time says that he should make the final. Is he going to? I mean, I think he's ranked third right now. So
Yep.
that's going to be pretty good. Josh Metheny he'll be fine too. I'm not sure he's going to make the final. He's going to have a really good race as far as
Right.
that goes. But I'm 206 going in. He's just got to drop a little bit of time and he should be okay. But who does he have to swim against? Leon Marchand.
Yep. Yep.
He's a breaststroker. So,
Yep.
and he's significantly faster.
Yep.
I mean, it's 205. You can
Yep.
do it. But I think he makes the final. I really would like Matt to win a medal. I think that'd be excellent. So that's what we have for tomorrow. That's going to be
Awesome. It's exciting. Stay
yeah.
tuned.
Yeah. And we'll be back tomorrow to talk about everything that we see from coaches, athletes, and for parents. All right. We'll talk to you later. See you tomorrow.
See ya.